I want to quickly talk to you about AdvancePoint Capital. Of course, we are speaking about business funding. We're speaking about business term loans, business lines of credit, SBA loans, equipment financing, and so on and so forth. So the big question is, should you actually borrow from Advanced Point Capital this year? Let's have a quick conversation with that, okay? A quick conversation about that. So let's first define what this lender is all about. So Advanced Point Capital is what I call an alternative lender. So it's neither a bank nor a credit union. It's not an online lender. Also, it is an alternative lender. In other words, they will look at a set of different criteria before approving you. Okay, so think about Advanced Point Capital as a business loan marketplace that really connects businesses with various lenders to help them secure funding. So when you think about Advanced Point Capital, I want you to think about the same business model as Lendio, the same business model as National Business Capital. So this is NBC, or also like other players. So this is a loan marketplace. This is not a direct lender. So this is not a direct lender as Blue Vine or let's say Smart Base. No, we have a loan marketplace. So what happens here is that basically the Advanced Point Capital does not provide loans itself. Instead, they will help you actually find suitable financing options from multiple choices, including from banks, including from credit unions, including from online lenders. Okay, that's kind of cool. And Advanced Point Capital has been around for the last nearly 15 years, 10 to 15 years. So that's really fantastic. Okay, and they have worked with thousands of small business owners over the last 10 to 15 years. So that's kind of cool. So the process with Advanced Point Cap is pretty simple. You need to fill out an online application, and then you just send. This will take you probably 3 minutes, 3 minutes or 3 to 5 minutes, and then when you submit things online, Advanced Point will match you with suitable lenders. Okay, they'll look at they'll review your application, and they'll actually match you with a lender in your industry. And the company is based in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, but they actually service small businesses nationwide. So let me go a little more granular here. So how does Advanced Point Capital work? So if you think about Advanced Point Capital, if you want to borrow from them, you have to understand that if you go to the Advanced Point Capital marketplace, the online loan marketplace, you have a lot of products, okay, and you have to just choose the product that you want. So you have business term loans, you have business lines of credit, you have SBA loans, you have equipment financing, you have revenue based financing, business cash advances, and you also have invoice financing. So basically, when you think about business term loans, you have loan amounts that go from 10K to $5 million. That's pretty good. I mean, not a lot of lenders will give you that much. Okay, so you have $5 million. Of course, Advanced Point Capital is not giving you the money themselves, right? But they are working with lending partners who are willing to give you a maximum of $5 million. And in terms of a repayment window, you are looking at 6 months to 10 years. And the origination fee will depend on the kind of loan amount that you're looking for. But the origination fee goes from 0% to 5%. So there are some loans where they don't charge nothing at all. Okay. Now the funding speed for business term loans is undisclosed, but based on our research, it takes somewhere from three days to 7 days. Okay. So that's kind of cool. Then you also have business lines of credits. Here you have the same thing, maximum $5 million, and you have terms that go from 3 to 36 months, and the rates actually starts at 1% per month. Okay, and the funding speed is actually same thing, 2 to 4 days. You also have SBA loans. SBA loans have the great advantage of being guaranteed by the government through the SBA, the Small Business Administration. So you are getting 25,000 all the way to $5 million. Terms here 5 to 10 years, okay, and the rates you have the prime rate plus 2.75%. But the funding speed here actually is longer. It takes several weeks or even months to close. You also have equipment financing. So equipment financing, you're looking at $500 all the way to $350,000. And terms here, you are looking at 3 to 5 years. So that's kind of cool, 3 to 5 years. And you are looking at an APR that goes from 10 to 15%. And you also have a revenue based financing, business cash advances. Here you have 10,000 to $2 million. Though here you have the factor rates between 110 to 1.45. That's kind of high, but hey, listen, it is what it is. And then you also have invoice financing, so 10K to $5 million. And the terms actually vary based on invoice terms, but you have discount rates that starts at under 1% per month. Okay. And in terms of funding, you have the same day funding process as when it comes to merchant cash advance. So if you are interested in an advanced point capital business loan, what are the qualifications here this year? Well, the thing is that you have credit scores, you have time in business, revenue, and financial documents. I first want to talk about the financial documents. So Advanced Point Capital, or at least their lenders, their lending partners, want to see your business bank statement for the last 3 months, your profit and loss statements, to have a clear idea about your revenue and expenses. They want to see your balance sheets, okay? Balance sheets for the last 3 years, also 2 to 3 years. They also want to see business tax returns. So whether you have filed, sorry about that, you have filed 1120S or 1120 or 1065. You have to really provide whatever you have for the last 3 months, for the last 3 years, business tax returns, and also your personal tax returns. So personal tax return, your 1040 for the last 3 years. It's always 3 years, but the thing is that if you have been in operation for less than 3 years, you just have to submit whatever you have. Okay, so that's for the financial documents. So in terms of revenue, the revenue requirements will depend on the specific loan that you are looking for. So basically, if you're looking for a business line of credit or business term loan or equipment financing, the revenue requirement will be different. So it's just better. You can let me know in the comment section what product, what advanced point product that you want, and I'll tell you the revenue requirements. In terms of time in business, they will go with a minimum 6 months, 6 months to 3 years. And credit scores also, they will work with all kinds of credit scores from bad credit all the way to good credit, not a problem. So, how do you apply to Advanced Point Capital this year? Well, first of all, everything happens online. I think I've said this before. This is a loan marketplace, so you don't have to go to a branch. This is not a credit union. This is not a bank. Okay, you don't have to go to a branch. Everything happens online, and the process will take you less than 5 minutes. So they'll ask you if you go online and go to the Advanced Point Capital website. They'll ask you about your credit rating. They'll ask you about your time in business. They'll also ask you about your revenue. And you also will need to indicate the amount you are seeking. And you got to give details about yourself and your company. And your company, including the legal structure of your business. If you are an LLC or a C corporation or S corporation or anything in between, okay? And so once you actually fill out the form, what happens here is that Advanced Point Capital will dispatch your application to it's a lender network. So you will receive multiple offers. Like I said, this is a loan marketplace, kind of similar to a Lendu or Clarify Capital or NBC, National Business Capital. So basically, you'll receive a lot of offers based on those lenders who are interested in your profile. Okay, because you have to provide your P&L. So the lenders must be interested in your profile depending on the financials that you have provided. And so once you just review the offers that you have, and basically you get funded. Okay. Now, if I can give you a piece of advice here, you want to contact Advanced Point Capital and work with one of their funding experts to see which offer is actually good for you, because all offers might sound interesting, but if you don't have you want to really have an extra pair of eyes to review everything before you actually finalize the paperwork. Okay, that will help you save a lot of cash over time. One thing I want you to also think also is that you will get funded within 24 to 48 hours, but just make sure that after securing funding from AdvancePoint Capital, the post-funding process involves setting up a repayment plan for the borrowed amount. Repayment typically occurs through fixed daily or weekly payments, depending on the agreement's terms. And Advanced Points Capital also offers flexibility in repayment schedule to accommodate the business's needs. So that's kind of cool, especially from a flexibility point of view. So, what are the advantages and disadvantages of Advanced Point Capital this year? So, in terms of advantages, you have a very easy application process, nothing very complicated. Everything has been thought to actually include the customer. So, that's kind of cool, the borrower, if you will. So, it's very, very quick and convenient to apply for funding at Advanced Point Capital. Another advantage that you will love through AdvancePoint Capital is that you have a diversity of business loans. You have business term loans, business lines of credit, SBA loans, equipment financing, revenue-based financing, invoice financing. So you have a lot of options. This is kind of different from if you were to go to, let's say, a Blue Vine or a Smart Biz or an On Deck or a Fondera, for instance. You have a more limited window of options. Okay, so you are able to actually get things done faster. You can choose the best option for your needs a lot faster. You don't need to apply to multiple lenders. Okay, so this saves you a lot of time and simplifies the borrowing process. And one thing I want to say here is that you have to understand that Advancement Capital also has been around for nearly 15 years now, and they've worked with thousands of small businesses. So they do have some experience when it comes to how you should handle the whole lending process. So what are the disadvantages here? If you think about Advanced Point Capital, well, basically, first of all, there is no transparency when it comes to eligibility criteria. So to if you want to, you need to apply to see if you qualify. Okay, so if you're not really eligible, this could be frustrating, like to be rejected at the end. But hey, listen, it is what it is. You also have a potentially high cost. Okay, so APRs that are in double digits. That's something to really think about, and you also have to worry about the fact that your data will be dispatched to multiple lenders who might solicit you for business afterwards too. I want to go a little more granular here. What are the pros and cons when it comes to Advanced Point Capital? The pros first. You have a very easy, streamlined application process. So this is kind of cool because you do not have to you do not have to go to a branch or talk to someone on the phone if you don't want to. Okay, you are basically able to get things done a lot faster in a very streamlined manner. That's kind of cool. You have access to multiple business lending options. You have a lot of lenders. You also have, by the way, those lenders are pretty varied. You are speaking about banks. You are speaking about credit unions. You're speaking about online lenders. You are thinking also about alternative lenders. You can connect with various lenders with one application, so you have an all-in-one process. Okay, and you have a lot of positive reviews for customer service here. So that's kind of cool. That's really encouraging, especially if you are thinking about Advanced Point Capital for a long-term relationship in terms of funding. So that's a gist when it comes to the pros. Okay, then you have the cons. In terms of drawbacks, you have a lack of transparency on eligibility requirements. The cost can add up with origination fees and the potential for high interest rates. So that's something to really think about. You also have the fact that basically Advanced Point Capital doesn't publish rates for some products. Maybe that's for a strategic move. Like they don't want to let's say overprice themselves or underprice themselves, or they just don't know because this is a loan marketplace and they're not the ones setting the prices. it's the direct lender, so they just don't know. And there have been some customer complaints about sales tactics. Okay, aggressive sales tactics. So something to really think about if you consider this lender, Advanced Point Capital, this year. One thing I want to say also is that you have to also ask yourself how much you're looking for. How much are you willing to borrow? Okay, because the amount you are going to borrow will actually impact how many lenders will vie for your business. So if you think about Advanced Point Capital, I want you to remember that this is a legit business. Okay, this is a small business loan marketplace that's been around for nearly 15 years. So this is a legit business. Okay, and what I want to say also is that if the company denies you, if for any reason the lenders on the platform don't want to do and don't want nothing to do with you, you also have you have a lot of possibilities. Well, you can actually think about a different small business loan marketplace. You can think about United Capital Source. Okay, you can think about Lendio. You can think about Clarify Capital. You can think about NBC, or you can think about direct lenders as opposed to going instead of going to let's say loan marketplaces. You can think about direct lenders such as the Chase of the world, or the Wells Fargo, the Citi, the TD Bank, the BMO Harris, whatever. Or you can think also credit unions. Okay, and you can try also to look for other types of loans. So bad credit business loans, business lines of credit, business loans for women, business loans for minorities. Okay, you can think also a merchant. You can think about merchant cash advances. You can think about ERTC advances. Advances. You can think about working capital loans. So you have a lot of flexibility when it comes to the loans that you're looking for. But one thing for sure, when it comes to making your decision, remember that Advanced Point Capital is actually best suited for you. If you are a small to medium sized business looking for a quick access to funding without the hassle of traditional bank loans, the streamlined application process and access to various lenders and products can help save you time and reduce stress along the way. Okay. And but just be aware of the fact that you might have to pay a little more because the company is not really transparent in terms of its APR. So just expect to pay a very, not very, but relatively higher fees, especially if you are going for the more, quote unquote, the more risky funding products of revenue-based financing, business cash advances, invoice financing arrangements, and so on and so forth. So, in conclusion, to this conversation, I spoke to you about Advanced Point Capital. I told you what this lender is, what they offer, how to apply, what are the pros and cons, and at the conclusion. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.